But for me, I can help people even if you didn't do inner work. But like you realize, how can I express my soul at the outside? But not everyone has this strength, this this character, this personality to really uh, show and bring like this is me, like hanging across, and not everyone dares to do it because most of the time, or the culture, or religion, or the family, please just calm down yourself. It's a little bit the sign that they give, and they suppress our personality because if we shine, they can't like manipulate us anymore.
Hi, this is Shakti Kali Kaloksi with my podcast, Beautiful You, the show where I get to share all my favourite people with insights and teachings on natural health, detox, women's empowerment and sacred sexuality, fitness, spirituality and more. I stand for truth, passion, freedom, transparency, heart, sovereignty and creativity, and I seek guests who resonate at the same level. The beautiful in me recognises the beautiful in you. Hi everybody, I'm back with my first podcast in must be well over a year, and so my first guest back, I'm very excited to be talking today to Hilde Jonkers. And Hilde and I met on a course many years ago. We've done quite a lot of inner work together around conscious communication and heart-centered work. And we've got quite a lot in common. We're very different women, but we're a same kind of age group. And we've got there's a kind of a bit of a soul connection going on there, I feel, on many levels. So Hilde, would you like to introduce yourself, please, to the lovely people here today?
Yeah, welcome everyone, and thank you, Shakti, to invite me on this podcast. I'm honored, and I also I feel it makes me happy when I can share one of my big passions in life. And so, besides a relational therapist, a couple coach, I also coach individuals. I like to paint. I'm like typically a woman, it's not like a very defined one thing I do, but I had a career of over more than 20 years in communications in corporate settings. I created my own PR and communication agency. I was a consultant. So after all these years of corporate work, suddenly I was like, who am I? And then I started, I think I was like 48. I'm 68 now, so I'm still busy with my passion. And I started to go inwards. And then at a certain moment, I came outwards and I wanted to dress myself. And I discovered that my clothes didn't fit my personality. And I didn't get it really because I always wore like a leather jackets and costumes and, like the very masculine side in me. And then suddenly I stood in front of a closet where I think, are these my clothes? A little bit like a weird a heart opening curiosity. And then I got that road. I read studies about the first impression and how important our second skin clothes are. And that's also one of my passions. You can hear me, it's like, oh, you have to stop me if I share about it. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so glad that you hit upon this so quickly in this conversation, because this also is a passion of mine, Hilde, and I really love hearing you say this. Can you just tell us again, what age were you? Because it's funny, somebody actually spoke to me about this week. And in my lifetime, I've come across so many women who have said to me, oh, I wish I could dress like you. I wish I could wear the boots that you wear. I wish. So
Mm-hmm.
what age were you when you suddenly thought, you know what? I'm going to express who I am. When
Yeah,
did
I
this
would
happen?
say good 10 years ago. Like 58, yeah, 55, 58, something like that.
I
When
think
I
a
came
lot.
like out, and my closet didn't match my personality. But
I
how
love
can I dress then? Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I really love this. I've had a conversation with a lady just this week who is 60. And she said to me, and she's a coach, and she said to me, I'm really ready to start expressing who I really
Oh,
am.
it touches
And
my heart. I think, yes,
yeah, me
yes,
too.
yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh, that's filled me up with so much joy. Why do you think it is? And thank you for that introduction, because that's kind of where we've landed here right now. And I guess this is the core, because both of us have done a lot of shadow work. We've both done a lot of inner work. So
true.
based on what you've shared, how do you think that then moves towards this once you've done the inner work? My word, I told you I keep forgetting my words. It's really bad. I hear the word here and it won't come out of my mouth, but I'm going to move through that judgment of myself. How does that kind of
Good.
manifest outwards once we've do we need to do the inner work? That's what I'm trying to say. Do we need to do the inner work before we can actually express and then embody, or does it? Because for me, if I go back to me, I had done no inner work. For me, my I don't like the word image, but I always was able, and there were not many of me. I'm going to be really, really honest here. When I'm going back to the age of 13, so we're
Mm-hmm.
talking 1974.
Okay.
I used to get my felt tip pens in the class, and I would paint flowers up my arm. And I wasn't allowed to have pierced ears, so I put a little cross out of one ear. And from that early age, I'd done no inner work, but I had this ability somehow to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Nice.
what are your thoughts on this for the majority of women? Do you feel that they need to do some inner work so that they can then express outwardly, or what are your thoughts on that? I've never thought about this before, but it's quite a curious and interesting
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think
thing.
inner work never ends in a way. You know these Russian dolls, in wood, like where you put one in another, and we were like born like pure and not everyone, and then they keep putting dolls on us. And most of the time when we have a heartbreak or we lose a job or we had a major issue in our life, then the dolls break open, and then we all these little dolls, we can remove them and we can do the inner work. But for
Yes,
me, I can help people even if you didn't do inner work. But like you realize, how can I express my soul at the outside? But not everyone has this strength, this this character, this personality to really uh, show and bring, like, this is me, like hanging across, and not everyone dares to do it, because most of the time, or the culture or religion or the family, please just calm down yourself. It's a little bit the sign that they give, and they suppress our personality, because if we shine, they can't like manipulate us anymore. So we are a little bit like suppressed and fashioned. The more I see the young people now, they are sometimes I'm standing at the school when the school finishes, then you see jeans and black hoodies. And it's so sad because they want to be them and they are all the same. So it's a sign of belonging to a group and losing your personality. But for me, you don't really go deep in your inner work. But when I guide people, I bring them at a level of little bit reflecting on who am I? What are my values? I guide them through this exercise so that we have like some things to hold on, and the things to hold on, I teach also the clothing alphabet, and then we can translate these things, these values into your clothing outfit, no matter what kind of outfit. Is it an outfit to go out, or a daily outfit, or your coach outfit? That we find your values translated in your clothes.
I love that.
visible or less visible.
I,
Yeah.
I'm going to put that to my list of things in my next lifetime, because that's something that I did study fashion psychology at fashion college, and I'm fascinated by it. And I would love to do that. So you actually offer this to women now, do you? You offer
Mhm.
a
I
session.
created a product and I called it leadership, making leadership visible. I
Oh
think
wow.
we came into a era that women, you know, feminine is rising. Also in man, the feminine is rising. We don't need to have the focus on one job. We can have like a buffet or of 10 jobs and doing a little piece of this and doing a little piece of that. But for me, it's feeling the joy in what you do. And this doesn't need this one job focus. Are you marketeer? Often they told me, Hilde, or you are a leadership coach, or you are an expert in fashion psychology. And I didn't get it because I was, yeah, but everyone is wearing clothes. So for me, it's not a thing that I can divide. Like, I cannot make two things out of it. It was like, no, if you do like styling, then you are a less good leadership coach. I didn't get it, really.
That's really interesting. And you've actually just triggered a memory for me. When I left fashion college, I got a job at head office in London for a British company called British Home Stores. They
Mm-hmm.
still go. I don't even think they're still going, actually, BHS. Anyway, they were a very big, like Marks and Spencers. They were kind of the competitors to Marks and Spencers, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you've heard of.
Yeah, yeah, of
And
course.
I was there for 6 months, and I thought I was going in as a trainee fashion buyer. That's what I was taken on as. And of course, we used to get these, you know, fashion buyers coming in. They'd been working obviously for the company for a long time. They were traveling off to New York and Paris. And I'd been on my training at college to Paris and Zandra Roads and all the. It was an incredible course I did in Leicester Square, the College for the
Mm-hmm.
Distributing Trades in London, which is no longer there, unfortunately. Anyway, my job wasn't traveling the world, going to fashion shows. My job was to see which stock was out and which needed ordering. And so I was sitting at a desk. Of course, it didn't suit my personality at all. And
Mm-hmm.
I gave my notice in. I was only like 19, and I gave my notice in. And my boss said to me, he said, "You're better off in King's Road. You weren't really ever suited to British Home Stores, you see." And one of the things that we'd had to do in the course was go to different designers and different shops. So you might get the high street shops, the designer shops, and the high street shops were important, are important. But you had to look at the image. Were they playing the music of the real artist, or was it
Mm-hmm.
fake? The psychology was
Mm-hmm. The
so,
psychology.
and um and so I'm just curious about this whole thing around, the whole image of, so how do you tune into your clients then to get a feel for how bold or courageous, or would you then take them into some inner work to bring out their boldness, to bring out their curiosity and their excitement, to maybe shift their perception of who they are? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this runs very deep. As I'm,
It
as
is
I'm
deep.
saying, like, I'm curious myself.
Yeah, yeah. It is deep. I I don't try to bring out something, but I always invite. And the leadership exercise, I always start in their wardrobe. Like, okay, eliminate what you will not wear anymore in the future. And this wardrobe tells already a lot of how the people, how the person is in front of the wardrobe. And
Hmm.
then, I, if you open the closets, it reveals already how you are moving in your life in a way,
Yeah.
because a lot
You
of people,
go
they
in their
have,
closet.
yeah,
Do you,
and they have like a closet, and they often, especially women in corporate, they say, this is my corporate wardrobe and this is my hobby wardrobe. And I try to blend both. I try to blend both because otherwise if you if you do your job, you need to leave a part of you at home. Your soul gets sad, and you can always. I once styled a journalist, but it was like a corporate television channel, very with the stock market and very serious economic statistics, so like very serious journalist. And of course, these people, they are it's needed that they bring serious stuff. So you don't bring serious stuff in your swimwear or with a towel around your neck. It needs a little bit respect
Yes.
as a journalist. But these people also have a humorous part, one more visible than the other. But they said, yeah, but I cannot wear something like funny on this channel. I said, no, but you can wear like happy socks, the brand happy socks. Like these are funny socks or a funny underwear. No one sees it, but the fact that you take your underwear and you put it on your body, you have that part of humor with you in your job.
I like that. I like that.
Me
And
too.
very many questions. I feel like I want to now go into different women and videos and look and actually discuss what's going on for them in the psychology. I went for a dog walk the other day because my friend who looks after my dog full time, but I see my dog a lot, 3 or 4 times a week. But he went off for a hip replacement. Oh God, that's another whole topic. Hips and bodies as we get over 60 is a whole nother conversation. Um, but I was wearing it was a Sunday and I was wearing a knitted long leopard print skirt. It's just a cheapy one, you know.
Mhm,
I probably picked it up from a charity shop, to be fair. But because I've lived my life in workout clothes and lycra, and I teach a lot of days. In
mhm.
fact, my 35 career. One of the reasons I stopped teaching and shut my studio was I just needed to get my style back because I felt I was always in
Yeah,
lycra. I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
every
yeah. I get it.
you know. And then, of course, it's day wear and it's comfortable. So it was a Sunday, and I wasn't teaching. My clients are on holiday; they're away, and so it was an unusual Sunday. And I thought I'm going to put this knitted leopard print skirt on, and I put my kind of nice-ish boots on, and I had my white jacket on and my white. I've got again. I buy a lot of clothes. I don't buy a lot of clothes unless I'm in Bali, but I do tend to buy things from charity shops, or I'll buy expensive stuff. I buy if I like it, I'll buy it. So I've got this
Good.
white jacket on, and I've got my lovely white, fluffy, cozy, same material bag. So I'm looking quite white and leopard printy. And I'm taking my dog out, who's a big golden doodle, and he's just recently been for his grooming, and he's white. So I'm in this park on a muddy
Oh,
Sunday, looking quite white. And everyone else is in their grungy plastic Macs and
exactly.
boots. And people were stopping me saying, how is your dog so white? Oh, you match your dog. And it wasn't intentional. It really wasn't
Yeah.
intentional. It was that I was just not used to dog walking anymore on a
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. The mud, I'll normally go and see him and we'll go for a walk on the pavement or we'll go somewhere. But I just had these different clothes on. But what I'm trying to say here is I didn't feel embodied in what I was doing. I didn't feel I felt separate. I felt disconnected. I felt I got the wrong outfit
From
on.
you?
Some me.
From yourself or?
I felt I didn't feel like myself. Had I been wearing this outfit and gone into town, because I'm not someone generally who will think about wearing a particular outfit for a particular occasion. I'm different to most people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I am different. I know I'm different. But I was really curious on Sunday how I felt. I felt a mismatch.
mm-hmm.
And I get a sense, and it reminds me, and it's bringing up now, I think very often the confidence that comes for women, and I wonder if you agree with me, I'm sure you maybe
Of
will.
course.
Confidence comes, doesn't it, when you are embodied in how you express yourself, how you are. You don't even I don't even think about what I'm going to put on most of the time, because I know when I'm comfortable and when I'm not. And I'm just saying that on Sunday, I didn't feel comfortable. Maybe it's because I'm not used to dog walking anymore. And I
Mhm.
didn't feel aligned. But how can women listening to this right now, how do you think they can, do you think is the first step now for women who are looking to feel more confident in feeling more congruent, more in alignment with expressing themselves from the inside out?
Yeah.
What apart from going to see you, which I think is probably a very good idea.
But I can give you an answer, but it's not an easy thing
No.
because it's our biggest shadow is the shadow to shine bright. We
Oh,
have the tendency to like, ooh, because of course you become more attractive when you're aligned, then of course people will feel your confidence. You don't even need like a special walk or a special talk. You don't need to explain. People will notice. But it's a little bit frightening as well, because then you're noticed for who you fully are. And that's a
you
huge shadow we have. It's not a dark shadow, it's a light shadow. It's a bigger shadow than our dark shadows in a way. So that's why it's important to do the shadow work as well. But for the women who are listening now, and even for men, it's important to just stand in front of your mirror in the morning and take a look into your own eyes and ask yourself, what how do I want to feel today? Am I more in, timid, like a little bit fragile today? Then we can work with colors or the fabrics or the a tone on tone color contrast, or like a little bit more soft, or you can go full out if it's your character. But not every woman dares to wear red and be visible and high heels, and if it's you, people will feel it. You see it often with politicians or like royals. Sometimes I think, why do you wear what you wear? Because it's telling me a lie or something. I don't believe you. So we have that seventh sense or sixth sense to really feel into, what is she or he wearing? It doesn't match fully with that person. And that's why I teach the alphabet, the the language of clothing and the different elements with which we can play and explore. Is it a little bit more this or a little bit, I'm like turning on the volumes. Everyone has a part in him or her that loves to play and that is joyful, but you have extrovert people and introvert people. So, the volume is different, but we all have that part. But very extrovert people will wear like funny things at their ears or make a statement with jewelry or a big hat. But the introvert people don't. I will never do this. I'm very respectful towards a personality. I will never buy an outfit where my client is not ready for. What I do, if I sometimes I see the diamond in people, but they are not ready to fully open up and shine brightly. So it's logical in a way that it takes time to open up, and we know.
does.
Um, but then
Hilde,
what I will
so is
do, I will invite them to put an outfit that is way over their comfort zone, and I tell them, you know what, we will take a picture because your eyes need a little bit more time to integrate this outfit. We're not going to buy it and just watch the picture of you in that outfit. So giving people space and time. Yeah.
I can't wait to watch this back. I feel like you and I have had hours of conversation privately, and the reason that I choose to do podcasts? I have the judgments coming in. You don't know your words. You're not, you haven't got the vocabulary, blah, blah, blah. But
But you're
actually,
doing it.
your response, I was thinking, this was the perfect question, because what you gave to me in that response was just gold. It was beautiful, and how
Mm,
you just touched on truth. Like what you shared then from the beginning was just absolutely true, and then you went into how you move through this and how you work with your
mhm,
clients. So I
mhm,
look forward to going back to this, because you really touched on something very, very true there. And I really do feel passionately that I hope that women, and those of you listening to this, please give your comments below and your thoughts, because I feel that this is a really important conversation for women.
mhm,
Because when you think about women just radiating, that beauty, this is my whole strap line, is to reclaim the beauty within. It's not about surface level. We know that.
mhm.
We might see a pretty woman or a good looking woman, but we know what really radiates through is what's inside.
Of
And you
course.
can express that. I mean, you look absolutely gorgeous today. I'm loving you, seeing you in this light. And the other side of it that I just wanted to mention, there were a couple of things actually, but one was, I had a shamanic friend. We actually fell out about 8 years ago
Mhm,
for personal reasons. We just both respectfully had a conscious uncoupling of friendship.
mhm.
It was very beautiful actually, and I love how that's happened in my life, and I feel that's a very, very powerful topic to talk about sometime. But she constantly had struggles and desires, longings to express on the outside who she was on the inside. She'd come from a very corporate background, probably like you were saying earlier. And so she would go out and buy a whole outfit and put it on and look amazing. But somehow I could tell that it wasn't aligned with her.
Mhm,
And this was always a constant struggle. I think eventually she came to her, she came to her sort of mid 50s. I think she started to align with herself.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
the other thing that I was going to say was the red thing. It's funny for me personally, because I'm big, I'm tall, I'm like 5'10" and a half, and I've got a big energy.
mhm.
I cannot wear red. I cannot wear red lipstick. My personal thoughts on red is that I feel, this is only a personal, I just want to hear what you think about this, but personally, I think that red lipstick doesn't suit every woman. And
No.
I can see very clearly when a woman has put lip, and I know that I've changed my makeup just recently, because I just throw mine on. But I can see red lipstick, to me, if it doesn't look right, it looks really off. And
Mhm.
I find lipstick an interesting one, especially in older
And a
ladies
little
as
bit
well.
cheap sometimes, it's like it can be like, yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit cheap. Yeah.
yeah,
It
I agree.
yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that you presumably you're going to take in energy, body size, like, the other one, of course, is body shape, for example. You
Mhm,
know,
mhm,
I I always had a better upper body than a lower body, so I would emphasize more my upper body. But when you
mhm.
see something
Good.
wrong, dressing, I mean, this is going back to body shape, isn't it? I mean, do you take body shape into all of this? I mean, some women just really dress wrong for their shape, don't they? Do you look at
Exactly. Like if you have like large hips, please don't wear horizontal lines on your hips because like our eyes see even more larger
yeah,
hips in a way. But if you have
size?
large hips, we cannot cut either. You have your hips and it's about the round forms, but I will always ask the woman, what do you like about your body? And they can all like my eyes or I love my neck, and I will highlight these parts and we will camouflage a little bit the large hips. But how do we do it instead of creating horizontal lines? we will create like vertical line, like wearing a pullover, like with two lines or along, this. If I will show you that it's always better to show. So if I show this part, it's large. But if I do like this, I create vertical lines and I become smaller in a way. So
This
it's a
is
very
very,
practical thing to do with
yeah.
people. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I studied this a long time ago, and I imagine women sort of over 50, over 60 who are listening to this at some stage in their life have looked at body shapes and what suits them. I haven't ever thought of the scarf one. I like that, the long scarf.
Scarf
Um,
or a necklace or whatever, even
yes.
stripes in a t-shirt. The
Yeah.
vertical things make it smaller and taller for small
Yes.
people. For short people, it's it's good to wear like one color, like blue shoes, blue socks, blue skirts, blue shirt. If it's blue, you have one huge vertical blue line. If you wear like red shoes, white socks, a green shirt, and a yellow shirt, you have like all this,
Yeah.
and it's like horizontal, and you will make yourself shorter
Yes, of course.
optically. Yeah, of course. Your
You know,
eye is
yes.
zooming out and look at yourself into the mirror. I want to be taller. Okay, does this outfit makes me taller? Ask yourself the question, is this outfit fully me? Is it too much of me? Is it okay? But it's about you. It's not I'm going into corporate, because we can fit in, but please don't lose yourself in by fitting in. There
Yes.
is a difference for me. Never lose your personality to fit in. Of course, we need to adapt a little bit, but you can adapt or fit yourself in. And fitting in, you respect your personality and you respect the environment where you move in. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Hilde, sorry. One of my biggest issues, I think, just personally from when I was younger, was that I was tall. And I remember I was I married a punk in Australia, the only punk in in Perth. Big blue Mohican, kill Dr. Martens. Um, but prior to that, when I was 16, I dated a guy and he took me into the West End or he invited me to a cocktail party for his work. It's the only cocktail party I've ever been to in my entire life. Because I was tall, I never used to wear heels. And you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
get flats like you can get now. The only flats you could get were in a lovely sort of designer shop in London, and they were satin and they were flat. And
Mm-hmm.
I hated my bum and I hated my legs. So I would always wear a long skirt. And I went to this cocktail party with him. And I didn't know at the time, and I didn't realize for many years, but I didn't know that I didn't like small talk either. So it wasn't just about the clothes.
Of
So I'm at
course.
this cocktail party with this lovely, handsome guy that I've only just recently met, probably been on 2 dates. And I've got these flat shoes on where everyone's wearing heels. And I just, I have a style. I've tried moving
Mm-hmm.
out of it. I'm comfortable with my style, but how how do you think times have changed? I'll make this brief now because we've been chatting for a while. I could talk for days
Mm-hmm.
on this subject. Um, but how do you think? I mean, it's easier nowadays because we've got more choice in everything. But one of my favorite people on Facebook put a post this morning, funnily enough. And I woke up this morning and I thought, oh, I'm going to be interviewing you today. I never pre-plan. I don't really plan what's going to happen in the thing. But what she wrote, kind of thought, oh, this is interesting. This is the topic I'm on at the moment. And she was saying that, and she put a photograph of a very skinny woman,
Mm-hmm.
skinny woman, and was talking about how the culture has promoted this kind of weak, feeble look.
Mm.
She does live in America, I have to say. And my instant thought was, no, actually, culture has changed. We're no longer promoting unhealthy, skinny looking women. Because when I go to the gym, I'm seeing big bottoms and big thighs and real women, not just the
It's
skinny
good.
look. And so I'm just wondering where the crossover happens with, there's different sections to this, but I'm thinking, the corporate woman who maybe is overweight, how much influence do you bring in from all the aspects of who you are? If I was going to a cocktail party now, would I have the confidence to wear the heels and be towering over most people in there?
Would
And a
you?
lot of young girls, I'm throwing loads in here, but I've noticed a lot of young girls nowadays, as well as having great big booty and thighs, they have the confidence now to wear the heels and to be 6'4".
Hmm.
I'd be
I don't think we
proud.
can generalize it, but you know, uh, you know, society people are getting more and more conscious, and they
Yeah,
choose for comfort and what is really an easygoing outfit that fits their personality. But we cannot generalize, I think. There is still a lot of pressure out of the fashion industry to like look at Instagram. I'm very sorry, but with the plastic faces and the huge lips and people at that age, especially when you're 16, you want to belong, and you lose yourself. But the most important thing is you need to feel belong to a group of people. And I
you
think
know,
that's why in the youth they were the same.
yeah,
They were
and
the same.
we need to keep this to kind of more our age group, I think, because I don't know what I don't know what is out there for older women in terms of fashion. I think what it is, and I think probably is the core of what we're talking about today, is to express yourself through
Exactly.
how you feel and to be able to have
Exactly.
the confidence to shine your light and allow your clothing to be a reflection of who you are.
Who I exactly. And there will
Yeah.
always people who will have comments on your clothes, but don't care for these people. These people
Very,
are, when you dress for who you are, you will attract automatically these people who fit with you and your outfit in a way because it's your second skin, but it's the skin that is more visible than your skin because you
I
wear it over your skin.
I totally, totally agree. So
It's your
listen,
message, and it's your clothing message. Is this a supportive message for your personality? Because then
yes,
it's aligned. And otherwise you feel embarrassed with what you wear in a way. We feel it. We
yeah,
feel it. But I think people don't know how. They need like some help. Like, how then? How? I don't even know who I am or what values are like important. But I think it's already very important that people question themselves, because instead of looking outward, they go inward and they get curious. And when you get curious, for me, it's a sign of self love. I
I
don't,
could,
I want to be seen.
and that takes me back to your beautiful response earlier when you just touched on that around the self-love and looking in the
Hmm.
mirror and just looking at your own eyes.
Hmm.
And I know you also, Hildy, also do you, well, a widowed woman. Is that how you would? Yes, I know that
Hmm.
you were married for a long time. I've been a single woman for 15 years. Can't believe it. I've
Hmm.
dated. I don't even I don't even date anymore. But on Saturday night, I actually said to myself in a more embodied way than I have ever said in my life. And you have to have done the work to get to this stage of being able to say this,
Yeah.
feel it more profoundly than ever before. I actually said to myself, I really love you.
Hmm.
I really meant it. And there was no ego in it. And I was like,
It
I
feels
never
good.
thought it was possible
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to get to that stage where for me, I was always desperate to be married, desperate to be in a relationship, desperate to be with someone, desperate to be chosen, to get to this point now. And this
Mhm.
is my message for women, that it is possible. It
Mhm.
is possible with the work to
With the work,
you
or one day in my life, I was invited also for an interview, and I shared you. I wore like mainly leather jackets and costumes, and I was at an age that I think maybe I should show my feminine side more. I needed to hire uh, a personal shopper because I had so much resistance against my feminine side that I couldn't find a dress for myself. And I needed support, external support, to help me to buy a dress that was aligned with me before I did the course. So I was like, sometimes you need to already dress, and then the dress will help you to discover parts of you that you never believed they were there. Or it
yeah,
can go the other way around. You do the deeper work and personality work and blah blah blah, and then you think, oh, my wardrobe isn't fitting on my personality. It works both ways. So it can be a more a harsh way, or it can be a soft way, like, okay, let me explore. How does it feel to wear this dress? Because I had to look for a dress that fitted on me. But today I only have dresses. It's rare that I wear trousers, except in the no, except in the winter time, of course, I will wear trousers. But my trousers, my style, and although I'm 68, I'm like my pants. I will show you. It's like an
let's have a
Adidas
look.
pant. It's like this pant of Adidas.
Yes,
Yeah,
sweetheart. Darling, sorry. Let me show you my pants. I have the
yeah,
same. I have my three black stripes. Where are they? Down the side.
yeah, exactly. See?
My joggers on. And it is winter a lot here. And I love what you just shared. And I'm actually going off to Bali, back to Bali on Sunday. And one of the things I love about being in Bali is wearing dresses. I feel more feminine,
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
but it's
that part is more highlighted in that moment. And you can play because if you think, okay, I'm like this and it's getting boring. For me, clothes, they need to bring you joy in your life. And in your way, not everyone loves to wear like white and red or black and green. You have people, they are softer. You have diamonds, it's shiny, it's bright, it's hard material. And then you have pearls. And pearls, they also shine brightly, but it's a softer,
yeah.
softer tones and different in energy.
And I love hearing about how you got into this, that you yourself were
Yeah.
ready to. And Hildy, I really want to thank you. I've so enjoyed this conversation, and this is why I invited you on, because these kinds of conversations are too juicy and interesting to just have between the two of us, and that's why I love talking to people and interviewing people. And I've really enjoyed. And look, I've got a couple of questions, 4 questions that I've
Hmm.
decided to invite each guest to answer. So you're the first of this new series of podcasts. So are you
Okay.
ready? My
I'm ready.
question.
I hope so.
What feels most true for you right now? And I know that's a biggie.
Yeah, I would love to have more courage to show the world my fragile, vulnerable part because I still realize, and it's a boundary thing as well, like a little bit hiding or needing more time to, and I feel a little bit sadness around my heart when I think I need to protect that part because I think, Hilda, if I put down the wall to like, oh, I'm not going to show that part, the world will never have the possibility to become more vulnerable and fragile. We are all vulnerable and fragile. we are human beings, and that's a thing where I'm still working on. Yeah. Give me a few years and I will, but I'm a little bit too young, I think, at 68. But I think 70 plus, 72, I can feel that these layers, I become this little doll, but there are still a little bit dolls around that little doll. Yeah.
This is, I feel you so deeply because of the work that you have done. You were able to touch that so exquisitely. It's made my eyes water, and it
Mm.
felt so true and so authentic, and
Hmm.
so humanity needs to hear right now.
Thank you. Hmm.
We have
And
the
it's
whole Beckham.
frightening. It is frightening.
It's exciting. It's
Exciting
frightening.
and frightening. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we can, of course, be wounded in that part. It's a very fragile part, and that part is really longing to be cared for and cherished and hugged and like go slow and less words and like yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And the Beckham saga that's going on in this country, which is worldwide, really highlights to me the whole thing around brands and how it will change. I really
it will.
feel this is a very important part of the changing evolution culture.
Hmm.
And what you've just said was just really touched me. So
Hmm.
thank you. My second question: what has softened and what has strengthened since you've been sort of say over 60? What has softened? I think we've kind of covered that. What has softened and what has strengthened? If you tune into a short answer, and I know that you're good at this because you can tune in and feel what is really, or you can be really honest and able to touch what is true for you, which many women who haven't done inner work yet would not be able to do. But I really trust that you can be really authentic
Hmm.
and real with this.
Well, what softened me is I have done a lot of process work in groups, within large groups. And what softened me is to listen to other people's stories and see processes in front of my nose with other people and getting more and more compassionate for these people and therefore for myself, like realizing we are all people doing our best in this life. And some people are aware and some are not. And can I still love this person for what he or she is not yet or never will become? In that way that softened myself towards myself, but also towards other people. And what gives me strength is truth. I think truth, authenticity sets us free. Where there is truth between two people, there is love between two people. If I share my truth, even if it's not in the right words, it's a sign for me that I care for you. Because for my neighbor, I will never share my truth because I don't care for my neighbor in a way. But as good friends, sharing the truth and to be curious, where is she right? Even if it's only 1%, like to stay open and curious and leading from the open heart, even if you want to close it, but even please let it open for 1%. And then you can reflect. It was a projection of her towards me, or where was she right? Because I feel it triggers me a little bit, the reflection, the
I love
truth
that.
strengthened me.
I
Yeah.
say lots to that, and I've known you for a long time, and I've seen you change and grow and develop as we all that have done the work. But I also see you maintaining what is true for you, and
Hmm.
so I love
And
that. I
it's
love
not
that.
easy. It's not always easy. You lose friends. Yeah, you lose friends. Yeah, it's ouch. You know?
You cannot be a people pleaser in this work. You cannot do the
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
all your friends actually think. you can't.
Or if you want to be, then I name it. I will please you now because I don't want to lose. I'm afraid to lose you as a friend, but know that I'm pleasing you. Like to be honest, to name it. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I had to cancel a friend today because I realized I'd double booked, but I've just reconnected with one of my oldest friends. And we kind of, like many people did during the COVID years, 2020, we were having these friend gatherings on Zoom, and things were
Yeah.
irritating. Anyway, we parted ways after about 40 years and we've just reconnected again. So I think, as time goes on and stuff happens and the world happens, I think there's always a possibility, but I think she's probably one of the only people that I think usually it's like, thank you very much. We've done our time together. We've done our journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the
Cool.
thing. And it takes time. Yeah.
Does. So my third question out of four, what helps you to come back to yourself?
To be with myself. I'm often on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need
Yeah.
that to not lose myself in the collective field, in the field of other individuals. I really need that time to come back with me, walk in nature, doing my fitness, like painting. I like creativity. I think we are like creative sources. And for me, that's the way out of all the trauma work or and the healing. I think I want to be creative. That's how we are born as a creative source. And can I find in these thousands of ways of to be creative, what is my way then, besides the clothing and my passions that I do couples and everything? But how can I really use my hands instead of my head and let my hand guide me in a way? Yeah.
I love that. And my final question, what would you like women over 50 to stop believing about themselves?
Hmm. That they are not important. Please stop with it. We are all born on this planet, and that's for me a sign that we count, we belong, we have a unique voice, we have a unique talent to share. Even if you like to plant flowers in your garden, if that's your talent and that's your passion, tell your neighbor how passionate you are with planting new flowers in your garden. It doesn't need to be big. I think it can be very small and very local, but inspire other women. You count. Your voice counts. Your voice is important. Yeah. Especially now in this era because the feminine is rising. So of course there is more feminine in female bodies. So I think women will change the world because we think different. We are inclusive, and yeah, it's different. It's different, and it's a lot because feminine it's also the volcano that is like bam. One day a volcano will not tell you tomorrow I will burst. She will she will burst when she's ready to burst in a way that is admired and in a way that burns everything. So it's a huge thing to hold the feminine. Yeah,
Love that. I love that answer. Listen, Hildy, I have really enjoyed this conversation so much.
me
Um,
too.
you have a workshop coming up that I
Hmm.
really said I will fly over and I will come and do it because it sounds so amazing until you told me it's not happening in English, it's in
In
Belgium.
Flemish, in Dutch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in Belgium. But Shakti, one day I can come to London and
I think
I bring it there over there. Yeah.
I think you and just tell us briefly before we go, what is this workshop about? Because even though it's not in English, I'm still excited to hear about it. What's it
Hmm.
about?
Well, it's about personal branding and ritual. So it's more like um, an embodied way of really feeling into your style. And we will create. It's a good friend of mine. She is specialized. She offers rituals for different ages, and when people retire of a company, we need to close something and open something else. It's like being in your adulthood. In tribal setting, it's important rituals. We forgot it a little bit, but she is introducing it again in our society, in daily life, to celebrate people, to celebrate endings, to celebrate beginnings, to celebrate changes in your life. So it's about celebration. And we blend both our talents, and we will do like a live catwalk where you can really feel the difference when you do the first catwalk without any teaching, just in your outfit, like you're used to walk through life. But then we will make out of the catwalk, and after some teachings around clothes and the elements, the alphabet of the language of clothing, and then organize like a second catwalk where you really embody, you feel it, you feel the catwalk walking in confidence, so that your body is getting used how it feels to be confident, even if it's only 1 minute or 2 minutes.
I love that. I love it. That's so me, and I would love to have been there. I know it'll
Mm,
be a huge success. And
maybe
Hilde
one
Jonkers,
day.
so much for joining me today. Back on my first podcast. If you enjoyed this, guys, please do give me a comment and a like, and subscribe to the channel. Hilde, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I'd love you to come back on again. I could talk to you for hours and hours. And thank you very much, and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you very much, Shakti. It's such an important topic for women over
Yeah,
50. Please, guys, your voice counts.
yeah. Thanks, darling.
Yeah.
Lots of
Thank
love.
you.
Bye.
Bye.